There's just nothing better than when our communication is working in the right way. When everything is happening, it's effective, it's healthy in our communication to our team, our communication with each other, and our communication with our clients. When all of that is happening the way it should, oh my goodness, there is nothing better. On the flip end, when our communication is broken, when it's ineffective, when our communication is just not happening the way it should between our team, between us and our team, between us and our clients, or our team and the clients, oh, that's the absolute worst thing. When we speak at our clients or speak at our team, things start to fall apart pretty quickly. And the reality is that as financial professionals, we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to employ healthy and effective communication in our leadership, in our lives. Because when we do, our team sees that, and then we can model it to our team. When our communication is healthy, when it's effective, and we communicate that way consistently, everything exponentially changes. Everything changes. Because here's the reality. Effective communication directly impacts the bottom line. How effective your communication is will mean how productive your team is, what the morale is for your team, what the morale and the unity is for the people that work with you and for you. How effective your communication is with your clients will have a direct impact on your bottom line, not just with your revenue. Absolutely, absolutely. When you communicate in effective and healthy ways, your revenue goes up to the right. When you don't, you lose revenue. You know why? Because less and less clients are talking about you. Less and less clients are referring their family and friends. And so my challenge to you in this time that we have today is speak with your client, not at them. When you speak at your client, when you model it not just to your client, but to your team, to the people that you work with, and you speak with people, you speak with your team, you speak with your client, everything exponentially changes because healthy communication is powerful. Healthy communication is absolutely powerful. Now, here's the reality. Most of us, we communicate a lot, right? Most studies show we communicate up to 90% of our day, whether that's face-to-face, whether that's over an email, whether that's our body language, because our body language is communicating, whether that's our tone, how we say something to someone. Have you ever been shopping at a store and you asked a question to one of the cash registers or somebody who works there, and their tone, they may have meant nothing by it, but the way that they responded to you, you just didn't like the way they said it, and so you turn around and take your business to someplace else. Our tone is so important because we communicate up to 90% of our days. Most studies show us. I would probably guess, and I'm not a great betting man, but I would probably guess that you take your communication for granted. I know I have for many, many years. My name is Jason Raitz. I'm the president of Speak With People. We help leaders like you become exceptional communicators so you can succeed at a whole other level with your clients. You can succeed at a whole other level and drive business success. Because what I have found through all the research and study we do at Speak With People, when leaders invest and improve their communication skills, everything changes for their leadership. Everything changes. Revenue goes up, referrals go up, their productivity goes up, their morale goes up. And so the challenge is for you, can you invest some of the time? If you communicate 90% of the day, how much time, how much of percentage can you put into actually improving your communication? There's a great book, James Clear wrote it, called Atomic Habits. And in it, he teaches you how to absolutely change your life through your habits. Because when you have great habits, you will have a great life. And he says, even just work 1% of your day becoming better, improving those habits. You can't just go and run a marathon all at once. But maybe the first day is you stretch, and the second day, and the third day. And finally, by the next week, you're starting to run a little bit. So in the same way with your communication skills, Can you invest even 1%? 1% into changing your communication skills? Because if you don't, there are these 10 unhealthy communication behaviors that begin to build a wall between you and the people that you lead, between you and your clients. And for a long time, you don't even see the wall because we take our communication for granted. We do it all day long. It's like our breathing. We breathe in and out all day long. But I guarantee you, you're probably not paying attention to every single breath that you take. You just don't until you get sick and your chest starts to get heavy. And now, okay, I want to take care of what I have to do. I go to the doctors, I figure this out. A lot of people are like the banker I met a few months ago when I was leading a leadership communication workshop over about 3.5 hours. And this banker came up to me and said, hey, I just need you to know, I checked out the entire first hour. I don't even want to be here. They're making me, and here's the reality. I was up front and I have a view of everybody. I knew that he checked out. It wasn't a shocker to me, and that's okay. But we start talking about these unhealthy behaviors and we start talking about our listening skills. And he realized that for 20 years of his marriage, his wife had been telling him that he didn't listen. And he was like, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Until we started talking about how much money you could be losing in your profession, in your career, by not listening to your customers, not listening to your clients, not listening to your team members. And all of a sudden, bells and whistles and balloons started going off, and he came up to me all excited. I wasn't listening. But then I started realizing, if my wife doesn't think I listen, do my team members, do my clients, do my potential customers, what if they don't think I listen? And then it really started to make sense and come together, because he thought, wait a minute, if I can improve this, that's tied to my earning and my income. And so the rest of the workshop, he's just taking notes, and it was a fantastic experience. But a lot of times we let these unhealthy behaviors pile up, and we can't do that. We don't have time today to go through all those unhealthy behaviors. But the reality is I want to give you just a couple of skills that you can hold on to right now, and maybe you can work to improve these just even 1% in your leadership. 1% in the way that you influence your team. Okay, the first skill, graciously share your presence. How rushed are you? The more rushed you are, the more that you spend time on your technology as you're face-to-face with a team member or face-to-face with a customer, the more wall you start to build between you and them. And so if you're constantly on your phone, constantly checking your watch, and you're not there with them, they're going to check out. And the communication is just not going to work. The word communication actually means to share. It is all about connecting. And you cannot connect with someone if you're connected to something else. So if you're constantly connected with your technology, you're constantly connected with all the ideas and the things that you have to do, you are not going to be connected with them. And you cannot influence them. You cannot motivate them. You cannot push them to succeed at a higher level. You can't inspire them to buy a new product. You can't push them to try a different path with their financial savings. You just can't do that if you're not connected. And so when you graciously share your presence, you not only speak with them, but you connect with them. Because nothing builds trust more than presence. When you show up for someone. And so, leader, do this. In your calendar, make sure you set time to connect. If you just do your appointments back to back to back to back to back, and you put no time in between them so you're not rushed, then that's on you. Can you put 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes in between each appointment so you have a buffer? When you do sit down with them, can you turn your technology over if you don't have to use it? I know sometimes we have to use our technology to take notes, but there's actually studies that show if you use a pen and a paper, if you can, take notes on that, for whatever reason, it just drives a connection in the other person's brain that they can trust you and that what they're saying is important and matters. And so also when it comes to sharing your presence, think about your body language. If you're slumped over, if your arm is if you're tapping your finger all the time or tapping your toes, all of those things send off the ideas and flags to the person that you're sitting with that they're just not important. If you cross your arms, this may be very comfortable for you, but this is the universal sign of defensiveness. If you never look at them, how awkward would this video be if I just looked over to the side and I never looked at the camera? You have to learn how to communicate with people and not at them. You communicate at people when you don't share your presence, when you're too busy, when too many things are going on. You have to understand and know that you've got to be with them. Lastly, let me show you one other body language thing that you can do. Smile. Just smile. Okay, so the first skill to improve, graciously share your presence. The second skill is to ask exceptional questions. Repeat this after me. No more boring questions. It's like if you're a parent, you ask your son or daughter, how was your day at school? What do they say? Good. Good. Don't ask those kind of questions. Ask open-ended questions. Instead of asking someone, where did you grow up? Ask them, how do you feel about where you grew up? Because now you're tapping into their feelings, and the point of asking questions is to draw the genius out of other people. So you cannot help your team succeed. You cannot help your clients, your customers succeed if you don't understand their dreams and what their idea of success is. So if you need to know how to ask open-ended questions, use the TED acronym. T-E-D. TED. Tell me more. Tell me more about that. Tell me more. We live in a day and age where we know everything about everybody because everything's on social media, but we never really ask them questions to get to the heart of what they believe, feel, dream, and desire. And so tell me more about that. Ask them, explain what you mean. If they say something that you don't understand, don't do the thing where you just take notes and go, all right. No, stop, look at them in the eye and say, hey, could you explain that for me? Could you dive into that a little bit deeper? And then D, ask this, define that term or concept for me. Could you define that term or concept? If you graciously share your presence and then ask exceptional questions, and then lastly, you listen more than you speak, the trust that you build with your team members, the trust that you build with your customers, with your clients, is going to deepen even more. And what happens when you build trust is you drive business success. People will want to connect with you. They will want to do a great job for you. They will want to buy from you. They will want to refer their family members to you. And so absolutely everything you have to do, you have to build trust. Listening skills would do that. 20% of the time, share your presence and ask great questions, and then 80% of the time, listen. Because here's the reality. Effective communication impacts your bottom line. When you speak with your team, you speak with people, you speak with your clients, you will succeed with your communication and you will drive business success.